Hello everybody, it's Sooo here. Welcome back to this channel. In today's video, I have 4 reading suggestions for this season. The fall is coming and I'm so excited because this season is so comfy and cozy and you can read all of these exciting books that I have in this video. So as you may probably already know, I am really passionate about these topics: sustainability, how to lower your carbon footprint, how to be a more conscious consumer in this society, and all of that jazz. So I have a few suggestions, and I think that without further ado, we can roll the intro and let's start. Oh, and I was almost forgetting one thing. Did you know that to make a Kindle, making a Kindle requires as much CO2 as what is required to make 30 books? So right off the bat, one should read a minimum of 30 books to break even. And that's really interesting because I personally suggested to have your Kindle always on your phone if you don't mind reading digitally. I personally love it and I find it really functional because I don't know, like if you have the device, a separate device on Kindle where you have all your library, I really suggest you to connect the same account on your phone so that if you forget your Kindle at home, you always have your books with you. I really truly find it a smart way. And also to learn English, as you know, I am really passionate about English and I've actually practiced my reading through Kindle on the phone. There's always lots of free copies of English books and other languages actually that you can buy for free. So if you're starting to read something in another language that you like to know, I really suggest Kindle on the phone. And yeah, that being said, we can start with the first one off the list. So the first book I'd like to suggest you today is The Anatomy of Consumerism. No, we are starting with a pretty heavy title. I know, it is so interesting. Has the point of view of the United States of America, so it's not a global thing, but the author is American, if I'm not mistaken, so it has a point of view like a Western point of view, but it's super suggested because I found it like it has lots of information about what is greenwashing, what are MLMs. Yeah, so it will give you lots of information about consumerism, fast fashion. What is it in detail? I read it on my Kindle on the phone because, as I said, I like to have all my books on hand. And yeah, I'd like to give you a little bit of the quotes I highlighted from the book. Ask most people to describe the path to success and their answer will likely call for more. More money to buy things, more time to do things, and more knowledge to inform things. He advocates that before we seek more things, we explore the potential of the sources we already have. We need to get engaged with our sources to utilize what we have, create more from what we already have. Stretching our resources helps us to work through challenges and find outside solutions. So it's really interesting. It gives you lots of reflections about what is more, how like we, Gen Z, we tend to envision our lives in a way like we want more, we want success through the material world. So if you're interested, definitely read this book. And let's get to the other one. The second one is not a book. I mean, yeah, it's a book, but it's a little bit more practical. It's called No More Plastic by theree, and it gives you, right, like quick and practical things you can do to avoid the plastic pollution. It's a solid, useful book that you can read to know what are the different types of plastics, why plastic is so detrimental to our planet, and what we can all do. So from the 4th page, the ocean is in trouble. We must clean it up and stop the plastic at source. The 2-minute solution is a simple, effective way to do this. Read this book and discover the small changes you can make now that will add up to make a big difference. I read it a couple of years ago, but it's really interesting because I had completely changed the way I see the life I give to the objects. I don't know if you know what I mean. Let's make an example. I have this water bottle here in my hand and it's made out of plastic. It's not recycled. I think it's recyclable, yes, but the problem is, will it be recycled? Like, what are the types of plastic that can be recycled? and what are the types that can't be recycled. So in this book, there's lots of information about this topic. After each and every chapter, there's a practical idea thing you can start doing today. So it's very, very well done, and I love it. I suggest it. If you can buy it on Kindle, I mean, like, it has a super good graphic too, so if you want to have it like on paper, I suggest it. It's a small one. In this book, Martin Laurez, the author, talks about his new idea, the 2-minute solution, which is basically the concept of cleaning up. If you're going to school, if you're going to work, if you're just simply walking at the park, you can do something about the plastic pollution, and you can pick up what you see made out of plastic. Also paper and other materials, but plastic especially, because it can't biodegrade itself. I mean, it will take up to 50 years. So if we can pick up the plastic, and obviously to solve the problem at the root, we must avoid polluting ourselves. And I've actually just realized that at the end of the book, there's a checklist of the things you can do about your plastic consumption, and like, go outside into your street, a local park or open space, set the timer on your phone to 2 minutes and pick up later until the buzzer goes off. How much did you collect? Surprised? All of this, like, entertaining activities you can do. It's a practical book you can read in one day, I would say. And yeah, it's really, really suggested. So if you have a couple of, it's really economic actually, it's €7, and suggested. The third book is this one. I read it in Italian, so the title is a little bit different. In Italian, it's something like, we can all save the planet before dinner, but in English is, we are the weather, saving the planet begins at breakfast. And this book, like, it's literally something like the vast majority of the Western world should read this book, because it's like life-changing, like literally changes the way you see a piece of meat. And okay, like, it talks about the impact that livestock has on this planet. Why is it so detrimental to this planet, and what we can do today, because we all can do something about it. Jonathan, the author, thinks it all starts with what we eat and don't eat for breakfast, and I couldn't agree more to this sentence, because it's true. We can all do something about climate change right now, today, because we need to move from an animal-based diet to a plant-based diet, because scientists tell us clearly that a plant-based diet is more sustainable for our planet, because, like, let's be honest, we are more than 8 billion nowadays, and we need to stop consuming as we have always done. And this book will give you lots of data, information, statistics about what scientists are finding out every single day. Like, data is pretty clear about this concept, and we all need to do something, at least something about it. Choosing to eat fewer animal products is probably the most important action an individual can take to reverse global warming. It has a known and significant effect on the environment, and done collectively would push the culture and the marketplace with more force than any march. So if you're interested in what I'm talking about, and if you want to know more about this topic, I definitely suggest this book. And yeah, so let's skip to the fourth one. So the next book is Our House is on Fire by Greta Thunberg and her family. It's a very moving and touching book. I read it last year, and in Italian as well, because at the library they didn't have it in English, but that's not a problem. And by the way, if you can buy used and secondhand books, do it. It's another practical thing you can do today, like use the books have already been printed and intend to buy less new paper and what we have already printed, yes. I'd like to read some of her mother's words from the back of the book. But above all, it's about the crisis that surrounds and affects us all. The one we humans have created through our way of life, beyond sustainability, divorced from nature, to which we all belong. Some call it overconsumption, others call it a climate crisis. The vast majority seem to think that this crisis is happening somewhere far away from here, and that it won't affect us for a very long time yet. That's not true, because it's already here and it's happening around us all the time in so many different ways. Wow, yeah, so if you haven't read this yet, I really suggest it as the others, because very deep and loving story. And online you can always find false information about Greta Thunberg, her lifestyle, her family, but this book has been written by her family itself, so it gives you a very detailed perspective of how she started and what at the beginning moved her to do what she's done. And yeah, so I really suggest it. So without further ado, let's go to the last but not the least book. It's one of my favorite plant books I've ever read, and it's called The Plum Messiah. I know, it's in Italian, Il Messia delle Piante, but I love this book. It's by Carlos Magdalena, who is a Portuguese or Spanish writer, and I'm obsessed with this book. As you may know by the channel, I love tropical plants. I have a big collection. I'm really passionate about forest ecosystems and how these beautiful creatures have changed my life. This book is really interesting because it's again another biography, I would say, about Carlos Magdalena. He is currently working at Kew Gardens near London, and like, you guys, it's a dream of mine to work there. There's tons of plants there, and yeah, so this book talks about the more like the rarest plants on Earth. The author himself does lots of great reflections about climate change and the role nature has in this fight. We all need to support nature. We all need to have plants, surround ourselves by plants, enjoy being surrounded by them, and really like enrich this planet with more rare plants and more biodiversity. Again, this is the key of all my videos now. Like, biodiversity is really what Carlos Magdalena tries to use as a message. It's really like well written, and I love the way he describes all the different plants and flowers and stuff like that. And yeah, so I really suggest it. It's one of my favorite books. So if you have questions, definitely let me know down in the comments down below. And yeah, so this was today's video. I'm so excited because I always love to read new stuff, to learn new things, to educate myself, and to learn about sustainability, but also other fields. Truly hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I obviously hope you'll read these books as well. So, but before saying bye, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed yet, because I publish every second Sunday, and I have lots of videos about plants, about sustainability, about lifestyle vlogs, and all of that stuff. So I really would appreciate. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Bye!